All right. I'm just going to get started.
We should hit record, right?
I hit streaming.
We're not going to stream and record?
I won't need to because they'll just be watching it live, right? That's what we did last week. We didn't record it on top of streaming.
I thought we did both.
Did we stream and record last week? Okay.
Okay.
Just want to make sure. All right.
So we're doing it. We're live.
We're doing it. We're live. Welcome back, Button Club members, to another episode of the Safe Sets podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Shadow Fury, and with me is...
Ricky Icebeam.
That's right. How are you this week?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm a little tired. It's been a long week. How about yourself?
Same.
Yeah.
Long week. Today was a long day.
Yeah.
4 hours on a throat tattoo.
Oh, wow.
And no part of that is comfortable. My back, shoulders, neck, hands, all that super, super sore.
Hopefully it came out good.
Good enough. Good enough. Yeah. So he works outside, and he's very rough on his skin.
Mm-hmm.
And after 4 hours, his neck had kind of had it. So there were certain spots that weren't filling in. I was like, okay, we're going to have to do like coat number 2 in a few months. Like, let this settle. Otherwise, I'm going to blow your neck out. So, But yes, busy week. Lots to talk about because this week was also season 2.
Yes, so it's day 1 of season 2 for Street Fighter 6.
That's right.
All week it's day 1.
It's true. Yeah. All month even, right?
Yeah.
You saw Kevin today talking in the Street Fighter
Discord.
and he was just like, "Oh, it's gonna take me a bit to get used to." I'm like, yes, like we know, like cut yourself the amount of slack that we would cut you too, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things too. Like Kevin's so new to fighting games competitively, and Street Fighter 6 is kind of his first competitive Street Fighter game, and so like it took everything he had to learn Ryu to get to the level where he's at now, which is like master rank.
Yeah.
So then to replicate those efforts on a brand new character, you're almost starting over. Like,
absolutely.
Obviously, there's things that carry over, and you understand how the game works, but you're cutting your skill level at least in half when you're grabbing a brand new character, unless you've played fighting games for a long enough time and have gone through this process multiple times before, and then you're a little bit better at it.
Yeah.
Like if someone's been playing fighting games competitively for like 10 years and they've learned 10 or 15 different mains. Then okay, when Akuma comes out, they might be cutting their skill level down by like 20% instead of 50%.
Yeah. A lot of legacy, muscle memory, and the way the brain's already thinking of setups and things like that.
Not only that, but also just like not wasting mental energy beating yourself up when you like drop a combo or do the wrong route because you've been there before. Like, I know I'm gonna mess this up for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Wednesday, I decided not to do the Nerdly News podcast just so I could stay home, and it was Toasty was here, Tomlet, my brother, and we all just kind of chilling and labbing out Akuma stuff. So check out that stream if you haven't yet. If you're interested, I was able to do the combo tutorial all in one sitting.
Oh, nice!
In what didn't seem like a very long time at all. It all felt very fluid, and even messing around with Akuma, everything just kind of seemed like if you can think it, you can make it happen, basically. Does this work here? Oh, that does. Okay.
Right. It's like if you think it works, it works. If you think it doesn't work, it might work.
It still might work. Yeah. So talk to me about your road down Akuma Lane this week.
Yeah, so I haven't had a ton of time to play him, but from what I've gotten my hands on so far, I really enjoy him. I think his combo routes are really interesting, and I think that it's kind of interesting to see how they designed him, and because they released him at the same time as Season 2, there's so many changes for Season 2 that kind of change the way everybody needs to play.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting that, like, Akuma has a lot of good combo routes that doesn't require drive rush, and I feel like everyone has to remap their routes to try to drive rush as little as possible, because there's so much more damage scaling on it now.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting to see a character that was designed that way from the start.
Yeah. Which obviously shows us why there was such a big wait from Capcom to gain as much information as possible so that when this character is ready, we know we have to reset the standards of what everyone's doing in this game, right?
Right. And there was a time where I was kind of upset that Akuma wasn't coming out in Season 1 because he's supposed to be a Season 1 character. He's essentially releasing day 1 of Season 2.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen how he's designed and that the changes for Season 2 are fundamentally different. It's like, well, I'm glad that they didn't release Akuma in season 1 like a month ago just to change everything about him to accommodate season 2.
Exactly, because the build that we have now is something that we're all going to be sticking with for a while.
Yep.
And the way Akuma is right now, we're going to be playing him like that for quite some time. What have you seen online as far as what people are saying back and forth about Akuma?
So I've seen a lot of mixed opinions.
Same.
A lot of people saying that his low health isn't worth the tools that he gets. And I think when they say something like that, they're essentially comparing him to like Ryu or Ken or even Luke for that matter.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, these characters have 10,000 health and they deal good damage. They don't have as many tools, but the health difference isn't worth having an extra hit in your combo or an air fireball or whatever tool that they might believe is not worth the lower health.
Compound, hey yo, what's going on, my friend? Thank you for joining us. I hope the episode went well on Wednesday without me. Let me know. I have seen basically the same exact thing. I've talked about the Facebook Street Fighter community, and it's as split as the thoughts about Akuma, and people saying the same thing, like, we waited a whole year for this. This is not my Akuma. And then you got other people on the complete other side saying he's broken, he's too much, he's this and that. So
yeah, it's like there's like 4 different directions. Like, is he strong or is he weak? Is he sick or does he suck?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%. And that would change person to person. I just, in my world, I don't understand how anyone could look at Akuma where we're at right now and say, this character sucks.
Yeah.
No way.
No, I feel like it's either he's sick and I want to play him, or he's sick but he's not for me. In my head, those are like the 2 options that if I saw them, I would understand and respect those opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who says like the character is weak or that he's not cool, it's like, what game are you playing? Because we're not playing the same game.
No way. I mean, Akuma, even without playing him, you could look at him and say, oh, wow, that character looks super cool. I wonder what he's like. Then when you realize he's kind of like the boss Shoto around here, how could you not love him?
Yeah, and like in previous Street Fighter games, like Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, I've liked Akuma, but I never mained Akuma, and I wouldn't say that I loved playing as Akuma. But this Street Fighter 6 Akuma, in my opinion, is better.
I agree.
I think he's better than the Street Fighter 4 Akuma, and I think he's better than the Street Fighter 5 Akuma. And maybe not in terms of relative strength compared to the rest of the cast, which will remain to be seen. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, as far as like how much fun he is to play and like the cool stuff that he can do, like it's, I almost feel like I'm playing a different fighting game when I'm using him.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
In a good way.
Yeah. No, I agree. He feels so. He was a main of mine in Street Fighter V, and he feels infinitely cooler in this game. And even just those first few minutes. So the night he was released, like 3 a.m. or something, he was playable. Yep. I turned on the PlayStation. I had to play at least a little bit.
Yep.
I probably got like 20 to 30 minutes in, and every character that I've played in Street Fighter 6 so far as a serious main has been my first time maining that character.
Oh, interesting.
Never been a Ken main, never been a Guile main. So to slip in the sandals of Akuma, if you will, and be like, oh wow, this feels amazing. This feels comfortable enough that it's familiar, and I feel good with what's working, and inspiring to be like, I have so much to still learn about this character, and everyone does,
Yeah. And it's interesting for me because, like I was saying, I knew how to play Akuma, and especially in Street Fighter V. Like, I had a full kit, I could play Akuma, but I didn't love playing him. And then when Kage came out, I was like, oh, this is everything that I like about Akuma, minus the extra stuff I feel like he didn't need. Like Kage, in my opinion, was like better Akuma for me,
really,
at least for me. And so I mained Kage for a long time, and so now that I'm trying to learn Akuma in Street Fighter 6, a lot of the Kage muscle memory is coming back in a good way. Like a lot of like the anti-air DPs from really far away. Like the anti-air ODDP.
Oh, okay.
So like in Street Fighter 5, Kage's EXDP had a lot of horizontal range.
Okay.
And so I had anti-air DPs with that character only, because if any other character were to EXDP from that range, it would whiff. Even a character like Ken in Street Fighter 5 had like a short startup to his EXDP and then like a secondary one.
Yeah.
But Kage is like the first out of the gate,
Comes so far.
It goes super far.
It's like a Kara Sagat DP kind of, right?
That's exactly how it feels. And so there was ranges that I could anti-air with Kage's EXDP that other characters I wouldn't even try it with. And I'm kind of feeling the same way with Akuma's ODDP in Street Fighter 6, where it goes so far horizontally, I can get anti-airs that I normally wouldn't even go for.
Mm-hmm. What about back heavy kick?
So I'm just starting to utilize that now. I need to figure out a better mid-screen route, but I just like just before I came here, I was practicing his corner combos with back heavy kick into the level 2 fireball, and I saw something online and I tried it and it works, and it might be too good.
Yeah.
So let's say you wall splat him, and then you do back heavy kick, and then the level 2 fireball. You can medium tatsu into light punch DP into level 3. But it's really, really tight timing because between their splat and your back heavy kick, there's like a pretty relaxed window where you could be like a few frames late and the combo still works. But for this combo, I think everything has to be either frame perfect or really close to it. And so you have to back heavy kick like as soon as your character recovers, and then cancel right into the fireball. You have to release it as soon as the level 2 is like charged up, and then immediately medium tatsu. And at least from what I could tell, it was like I couldn't visually tell if I got it or not. I would just have to go for the DP, and it would either connect or it would whiff.
Oh, okay.
But if you did it all correctly, it would connect, and it did. I forget exactly how much, but maybe like an extra 200 damage on top of this already ridiculous combo.
Wow. Let me see here. The compound. We had fun, but you were missed. I already missed Reina. He hated when Tekken 8 came out. That all we saw was Reina's, and now he feels like all we're gonna see is Akuma. So
yeah.
Did you two find the 2 Akuma secrets after you eat the rice cake? Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, so I saw it online. I didn't find it myself. But I saw it, and I think it's really cool that it's in there. It's I really think it would be really hype if there was like a grand finals at like a major where it's Akuma mirror match.
Yes.
And at 99 seconds, they both do it and then start the match.
Yes, I agree. I was thinking about that after I had seen that. And all I could think of is, man, that would be so cool to do. Or, just to, like, the amount of labbing you would have to do, even just to apply all that new stuff, right, in a tournament setting. So that would be super cool. I'm only seeing Twitch stuff up here. I don't know if that's by irony or...
On YouTube.
Okay, I just wanted to see. No, you're good. Yeah, so Kevin had only played a little bit of Akuma in an older game, just very briefly, just to like show him how he plays.
Yep.
So him and I were, figuring stuff out on the spot, and we had some really, really good back and forth. It was great to see how fast his mind was working and at adapting to these new rules.
Yeah.
And then we did the combo tutorial.
I forgot the game even has combo tutorials. I didn't even think to do it. I just went right into training mode and started
That's
messing
so
around.
funny. And I just wanted to see what the game does. Sometimes the game shows you stuff it's not super optimal, but it's a fun little challenge, and it's still showing you something without holding your hand for an entire combo. But I was pretty surprised that I got through them in one sitting and in a timely manner. And he's got the most advanced combos out of anyone so far. 5 advanced combos.
Well, I don't know if it's more advanced or not, but Luke has the perfect knuckle charge timing.
Oh, no, I just meant like the amount of advanced combos that they have listed there. That's
advanced that way.
Yeah,
okay, I thought you were saying like he had the most complicated combos.
No.
No, he does have some complicated stuff, but I feel like just the like barrier to entry with Luke's perfect knuckles, it's like if you're not a Luke main, you're probably gonna drop the knuckles like 50% of the time.
Yeah. That Mirror Akuma match, doing that would be called a Demon's Agreement. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I also wonder, I mean, there's been characters in other games, like in Street Fighter V, that had something similar, like Armiko with the microphone, or Balrog with the tap, and like I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been appreciated if both Armikas fully charged up their microphone at 99 seconds and then did a 100% damage command throw.
Just like the next situation wins, basically.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, like in most esports, there's a rule where like the matches have to be competitive. Like
Yes.
you can't just let someone
You can't
win
waste time.
Yeah, and you can't like you can't like run the clock out, like not fight each other.
Yeah.
Like you actually have to play out the match.
Mm-hmm,
and so I wonder if having both Akuma players do their 99 seconds to both be powered up would be considered like not competitive for those, X number of seconds it takes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I remember seeing a Smash tournament where two friends were playing, and they did that. They just kept like
like missing each other on purpose.
Yeah. I don't know if they were building meter and this and that, and then someone came on stage and was like, "Yo, like I'm gonna disqualify if you don't start playing." Like, oh, okay, and then really went at it. So, yeah, I could see that being a rule, especially maybe not in pools, but hey, it's grand finals.
Yeah, or on stream. Anytime on stream, it's like, hey, two Akuma mains,
Uh-huh.
you can't eat the rice cake. Sorry, guys.
No, yeah, right. And then what else? Yeah, Akuma seems fun. I haven't taken him on ranked just yet, but I might do that tomorrow night. I thought about doing that last night, but I was just so exhausted when I came home, and I just wanted to chill after we did the unboxing of the new controllers that we got and some new buttons, which takes forever. Just resetting up everything, the camera, the lighting, the desk. We changed the top matting on one of the tables so we had something soft to handle the merchandise on. So I think we filmed all together from setup to breakdown was like about 3 hours.
Wow.
It was a lot of time, and Alicia probably has already double that in editing and stuff like that. So a lot of work, a lot of future videos to come for sure. Let's check the chat.
How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. We got the compound here. We got Beefcake G, the wife, of course, Foolery FGC. What's going on?
That's Temper.
That's Temper. I was going to say, I remember that because that one time he came, he's like, it's Temper, by the way. I was like, oh, okay. Aki has a taunt where she makes a bubble in the shape of Fang's head. Wow. And then the opponent's hits. Not only does the opponent get poisoned, she gets mad you popped the bubble. Oh, wow, that's hilarious. Funny. Oh, and there he is again. Thank you. They really fluffed those view numbers there. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers.
I can't believe that. It's been so
close.
We've been getting like so much traction so quickly.
That and those nth buttons launched us, and I don't even know where we're at. I think like 1.8K or something views.
Oh, views on that video.
On that video alone.
And that's just the unboxing. That's not even the review. That's not even the review.
Yeah. And he was stoked enough with that. He was like, "You did a great video. I'm gonna send you some more shit." So
okay.
Speaking of, do you guys want to see a teaser of what the new stuff was that we got in?
Where is it? I can't see it.
It's the John Cena of leverless controllers.
Yeah, the camo on camo.
Yeah, and this is the back of it.
Looks just like the front.
Yeah, basically, right? A mashing ape is like their...
Is that like their
like aesthetic, basically.
Their mascot?
Yeah, because even like on the videos where they're testing like the sound of their buttons versus others, the hand was a monkey hand.
Oh, okay.
Pressing the button and everything.
That's funny.
And then you want to show them that one?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the one that I got to pick out for myself with the colors. We just got red on red and the clear caps. Both have LEDs in them, just like the Snackbox Micro. But the build is very, very different. So obviously in the future, we will get to that. Oh, Alicia says right there, 1872 on the nths.
Nice.
Also, a little off topic for you guys, but on topic between Ricky and I finally heard from Dr. African.
Oh, yeah?
And it was the day before he was ready to have a meetup. And then it happened to have been Wednesday, and I was like, no, like, I'm doing season 2 things.
Yeah. Akuma's coming out. I'm not...
Like, no way. I already want to stream. I got friends coming over, maybe the next night. But I know he's also away at Combo Breaker this weekend, so maybe next week. But I am dying to talk to him and have a sit down and see what he has to say and all that. You need to use that while playing Guile, an American pad for a true... See, that was my thought. I thought for sure they sent that to me because they must know I'm a Guile main. That's the only thing that makes sense with that, because otherwise, me and Camo, not really, you know?
No, but, yeah, you're not a camper.
No. I've tattooed plenty of people that love that. They would have their whole arm covered in that, or like, can I get that Buck Hunter logo all in camo? But it was sweet of them to send that anyway. So
the Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah, right. Basically, if they had a video game division, that could be their thing, you know. What do you guys in the chat so far think of Akuma
and season 2?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even go through the patch notes yet. I was gonna do the patch notes the first night, and then we got started so late that I was like, if I do patch notes now, I'm not gonna start playing till 10 o'clock at night. So
Yeah, or later.
you know, so we can either just touch upon that later, or because I imagine that would take a little bit to go through anyway. So
Well, it's up to you. I mean, do you want to start, bring it up and start going through them now?
okay, so
So I think it's safe to skip this section because this is just kind of an explanation of why they're doing stuff.
and I saw that they had posted an explanation style things for the entire patch and every character.
Yep.
But it wasn't put on like their website. I think it was put somewhere else first.
Okay.
I screenshotted all those just to have in case. And then Beefcake G also he posted the patch notes. I'm playing Akuma for a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, it's getting late. I should get to bed. I'm already excited. I'm gonna have a hard time falling asleep as it is. And then in the Street Fighter chat, he's got the patch notes. So okay, I gotta go check it out. And I click on it.
Yeah, just check your character.
I just gotta click on it, right? The very first thing I read had me so excited that going to bed in for the next 2 hours wasn't even a thing, because if you know me, I get excited, shaky hands, and all that. And I read, let me see if it's here. Right here. Reworking successful command inputs.
I didn't even see this section. I skipped right to Luke and was like, okay, what'd you nerf?
I went right to this, and this has basically answered my dreams and prayers. I didn't know what it would take to fix, I like couldn't even put my finger on or verbalize what was wrong with the input system for me, but it felt just so wrong. So, where does it say it exactly? Pressing medium kick attack same time. Oh, okay. Where is it? Input recognition. I'm sorry. It's this right here. Okay. Bam. Commands while standing on the ground. The input recognition frames has been changed from 11 to 9.
That's a good change. I don't know if you recall, early in Street Fighter V, at least for charge normals, I think they had it too low. I think they had it at like 6 frames. And so like in the beginning of Season 1 Street Fighter V, it was so hard to throw sonic booms because you just constantly get step forward jab if you didn't time it perfectly.
Oh, okay.
And then they changed it, but I think they went too far in the other direction. I think they changed it from like 6 to 12, I think.
Okay.
And
that's a huge change.
And then I think like a year later, they brought it back down. I think,
and met in the middle, right? It was like 9 frames or something. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think they went from like 6 to 12 down to 9, and then 9 felt way better. Because with 12, it was like I was trying to throw and I was getting sonic boom, or I was trying to do something else and I was getting a flash gun. I didn't even do that.
No. And this, if you've seen earlier gameplay days of myself throwing out random level 2s and not wanting it when getting Dragon Lash, knowing that I want a DP and then still getting Fireball or something, because if I had it's still on me for the execution. I should have adapted to the 11 frames, but 9 frames just feels so much more at home. So even the first, before I even read this, when I was playing Akuma, I'm getting those DPs. I'm like, oh, is it Akuma?
Yeah.
I know it's not me. What have I changed? I might have changed the controller 8 or 10 times, but like, what has changed? And then when I saw it, I said, that makes total sense. That's why I was nailing my DPs so much more consistently. And then everything else in the air, I think, still remains at the 11 frames.
Right, which is fine, because if you're in the air, it's like, especially if you're doing like an instant air dive kick or an instant air fireball, you want it to come out, like, obviously, like you said, if your timing is perfect, this won't affect you at all. But for those of us that don't have perfect timing, you still want what you intended to come out.
Exactly, yeah. Because nothing's more frustrated than seeing someone jump, going, ooh, I've practiced this, let me get my DP, and then you start to see the blue come out from your hands, and then you got hit. That would drive me nuts.
Or worse, like, you step forward and then you stop for a couple frames and then you fireball and you still get DP. You're like, I paused so I wouldn't get DP.
Or like sometimes where, like maybe you're buffering it, and had it not been that long of a recognition window, it would never come out.
Right.
So you end up putting yourself in a shitty position because out of nowhere, I didn't hit confirm this. Again, it's on me, but that's way too long to be storing the inputs. Jump landing hurt boxes. Following characters have had their hurt box while landing from a jump moved upwards to match other characters. Okay. Stun timing bug fix. Parry. I think we've all talked about parry a few times. I don't know if that's something you want to even go into or.
Yeah, just really quickly. So drive parry is essentially nerfed if you whiff it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has a total of 8 extra frames of recovery. So especially if you have your opponent in the corner and you're pressuring them and you hesitate and they on defense tap parry, it'll be much, much easier for you to punish them for trying to just tap parry.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they also expanded the hurt box on the players while they're in that parry state. So I don't know if you saw that video on Twitter of Jury whiffing parry from like almost a jump range away from Zangief, and out of nowhere she gets pulled right in, wrangled, and SPD'd. So that was a beautiful visualization of that. And I thought this was interesting too. After absorbing an attack, the time until the drive gauge starts to auto-regenerate has changed from 60 frames to 20.
Right, and so that's really interesting. I'm assuming that also counts for fireballs. And so that's a situation where if the opponent is spamming fireballs, and instead of pressing and holding parry, like, because when you tap parry, it takes a certain amount of drive bar, and then it drains slowly after that.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone throws, let's say, 3 fireballs in a row, if you press parry the first time and hold it for all 3 fireballs, you actually gain a ton of meter. But if you tap the parry and don't get the perfect parry on each of the 3 fireballs, you more or less break even.
Yeah.
And so this is making it so that because you're parrying fireballs in neutral, you should be getting some meter back sooner than later.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I think that's a good change, especially for like trying to fight against characters like Guile and Akuma who can throw lots of fireballs really fast.
Yep.
It's like if I'm in neutral and I'm choosing to parry these and I'm not getting perfect parry, I shouldn't be punished for that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then perfect parry adjustments here. The overall gauge fluctuation from a counterattack after a perfect parry has been reduced. This adjustment is not just for the first attack, but affects all attacks until the combo ends.
Yeah, so that's if your opponent... wait, that's just for a perfect parry.
Yeah.
Okay. But that also, I believe, takes into account, like, if your opponent DIs you and you perfect parry the DI and then you DI him back, I'm pretty sure that combo is doing, like, no damage at all. Because it's, like, multiple layers of damage reduction.
Oh, and then all of it's piling on top of each other, basically.
I believe so. Because basically, if someone DIs you, you should DI him back, and that gives you a better combo.
Mm-hmm.
So if you perfect parry it and then DI it, it's like, yeah, you got some drive meter back for the perfect parry, but now that combo is doing less damage than it would do if you had just DI'd their DI.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that makes sense.
Temper says, I think it's so weird that Akuma has the best fireballs in the game. Is that true?
So it feels true. I actually haven't stopped and looked at the frame data, but when Temper and I were playing last night and the night before, we were doing Akuma mirrors, and we were, like, spamming fireballs at each other, and, like, we were both having trouble, like, dealing with it. Because it's like, if he throws a fireball at me and I parry and don't perfect parry, and it's like we're both the next fireball seems like it's right in my face again. And so I was gonna look at like a standard Shoto's fireballs, like either Ryu or Ken's, and then compare it to Akuma's, and then compare it to Guile's, because you would think that Guile should have the best frame data on fireballs, because besides I think him and DJ, I think they're the only ones who have to charge them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. and Chun-Li.
Yeah, she doesn't count. But I mean, like for characters like Guile is like he's meant to spam fireball.
Yeah,
and so you would think that he should have, if not the best, one of the best frame datas on his fireball, especially for recovery. But just playing Akuma felt like I was throwing sonic booms without charging.
Really,
yeah.
Really.
Especially because the heavy fireball moves so fast across the screen. So like with Guile, I'm sure you know this already. Like if you're at a particular range and you throw his fast sonic boom, it makes contact with the opponent so quickly because it came out fast that you didn't have enough time to charge a fireball to throw one again. You have to wait a few extra frames. And so Akuma kind of feels like he's doing that, but because he doesn't have to charge, he can always throw one immediately after.
One out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Temper says it's the speed of the fireball that makes it busted, I think.
Yeah, the heavy fireball. It's so fast.
And then what about the reward for holding fireball?
So it's interesting because in neutral, you really don't have enough time to charge your fireball to level 2. there's times where you can, and that happened when we were doing the mirror matches where like we would basically both go to throw a fireball and one of us would charge it and the other one wouldn't, and they would eat their fireball and hit them. But it's like you can't be throwing those fireballs at the exact same time. Like if you both throw it at the same time, the one who didn't charge it is going to interrupt you while you're charging.
Okay.
So you basically have to be like, I'm throwing it first and I'm choosing to charge it. And the other person has to be like, oh, I see a fireball start up. Let me throw a fireball a few frames later. And then and only then might they get punished for it.
Okay.
So I think holding the fireball is, I mean, you can do it in neutral, but I think it's too slow to like do it.
Yeah.
It's
too big of a risk.
It feels much slower than doing like the red fireball in Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. And I like the sound you get to listen for to know that you're at that next level. I think that's such a cool thing because he's, creating those spheres and they sound like glass or something. And
it's actually reminiscent of the Perfect Knuckles with Luke.
Yeah.
Because you charge it for a certain time and like if you just charge it forever, eventually it comes out and it's way, way slower. But there's that medium perfect timing where if you release it in the middle, like with Akuma, he has combos that, he gets an extra juggle when he does the level 2 fireball.
And for Luke, it's more of a visual indication, right? Because you're looking for that initial pop on the forearm and fist.
So it can be with Luke. There's a visual cue because he kind of goes like an orange orb kind of appears. Yeah. It's also the sound it makes, and then for me, honestly, a lot of it is just like muscle memory with the timing.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to do the muscle memory on the timing more often because at home I play on PC and then at Button Club we play on PS5. And so if I'm going off the visual cue or the audio cue, it could throw me off a little bit. But if I just time like how long I believe I'm holding my button for, then the timing should be the same on both consoles.
Interesting. How long does it take you to get warmed up between the two?
Probably like one set, like a first to two.
Really? Yeah. And you're back to it.
Yeah, and even then, I feel like when I'm home on PC and I'm playing, like once I get like recalibrated to it, I feel like I drop my knuckles a lot less. And when we play on PS5, it takes me like a first to two to get like recalibrated. But even then, I'm only like 90 to 95% on my perfect knuckles after that. It just feels very different.
And this is the guy that won Best Execution.
Well, I'm switching my execution between two different consoles.
At my house on my PC. All right.
That's just a difference between PC and PS5.
Of course. Yeah.
It is what it is.
And that'll be a difference forever.
And that's actually a thing I saw on Twitter today. People at Combo Break are talking about like, oh, this is my first time playing on PS5 and it feels way different than PC. And so I'm sure there's a few players that are going to drown in pools that were expecting to make it out that didn't practice on PS5.
Yeah. That's when we were doing the Guilty Gear stuff back then. Of course, we all knew that PC was the best, had the best input lag. But when it came time to doing those tournaments, which of course that's why we're practicing and playing so much, it felt completely backwards. And my buddy Keith was like, no, like if I'm practicing to get back to here, I need to play on here. This is exactly what I need to be using, right? Like put in that good practice. Yeah,
so to your point, like if your goal is to win your local and your local is playing on PS5, if you have a PS5, you should probably practice on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I don't.
All right. We have the drive impact buffer input window has changed from 5 frames to 10 frames to ensure easier movement immediately. That's pretty nice. It's pretty good. Hold on. What you got there, buddy? What you...
Nothing.
Is that a whole gallon of water?
I don't have a drinking problem. I can stop anytime I want. Yes, the last episode I drank 4 cups of water
during the podcast. Yeah. Let alone what you had afterwards. I say he was gonna go home and put a hole in his toilet. All right, drive reversal. This was a welcomed change. I remember thinking drive reversal was pretty trash in the beginning. After like the first month, I'm like, okay, this really just doesn't work. So, recovery on block has changed from 8 to 6 frames. Attack hitbox has expanded downward. Techniques low profile can no longer. Yeah, exactly. So basically, they're just making making sure that it works every time.
So I don't think this is saying that if you come down a little bit to the recovery drive reversal, so the recovery drive reversal is 2 frames faster than a normal drive reversal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I was thinking before the notes came out that all drive reversals got faster, thinking that they would work better. And so without actually double checking it myself, I'm not sure if drive reversal is actually all that buffed or not. But I think changing it from -8 to -6, even though that's a nerf to drive reversal, well, I guess it's a buff because you're making it less punishable. But I think it's better for the game overall because certain characters have a really good 8-frame punish and other characters don't. And so by changing it from -8 to -6, I feel like pretty much every character has a
get a punish.
A good consistent punish when it's -6. So like by having it at -8, it was like depending on what character you're facing, it was more or less risk.
I think also the fact that if it's -6 now on block, it's obviously still a risk for me to use, but I feel that the punish won't be as great as it would be with a standing heavy punch counter into full shenanigans where you're going to start with medium and then work your way, and you can still obviously get, really, really good damage off it. It's just not going to hit the ego maybe as hard on top of your health bar.
Yeah, you might live one more guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, it really depended on what character you were facing. Like if your opponent had an 8-frame like stand heavy punch, for example, you're going to get hit for way more damage. Or when you're fighting a character like Luke, it's like his crouch medium punch is one of his best buttons. It's 6 frames. And even when drive reversal was -8, that was the button you would press to punish. And so like Luke's stand heavy punch is a fantastic button, but it's 10 frame startup. So it meant nothing in that situation. Yeah. Exactly. So I think that was a good change.
Also think it's crazy that I don't play many Akumas, honestly. Oh, well, maybe at your level where you're at right now. Or who knows? My brother's been playing a lot during the day, and he's finding it to be quite different than playing at night.
Yeah.
With the amount of people and the skill of people that are on there for that time.
Yeah, I'm sure, too, like, days of the week. Like, I'm sure playing on, like, a Tuesday night versus, like, a Saturday night is different.
Oh, yeah, we did really good playing last Sunday, you plebs. Oh, yeah, that was my fault. I woke up dumb late. dumb late. And then, we had it was my sister-in-law's graduation.
Yeah, and I was
graduation party. So, yeah, we'll get there. I promise. When you said it, Sunday, I was like, yeah, Sunday's great. What do I ever do on Sundays? And of course, this Sunday I had that and slept in. I feel a lot of people are talking about this right here. The initial scaling has changed from 10% to 20% when talking about light attacks.
I think that's a really good change, especially because it's, at least from what I understand, it's so it says initial scaling. I'm wondering if that means only when the combo starts with light attacks, or if you do like jab, 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 do you get like 3 levels of scaling for that?
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure which it is, but either way, I think this is a good change because I think there's lots of things in this game that are -4, punishable on purpose. And there's so many characters like Guile, for example, can do a punish counter, crouch light punch, and then combo into stand heavy punch, and then drive rush and continue the combo. And so I feel like getting big damage off of something that's -4 doesn't really make all that much sense. I feel like if you're doing a long combo off of like a crouch jab, it should mostly be for corner carry and Oki and not for corner carry, Oki, and big damage.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Like if you're going to start a combo with jab and you're going to dump all your meter and combo into level 3, it's like that shouldn't do practically the same damage as like punishing a OD DP on block.
Because it's light, right? It's light damage, light everything. It's quick,
right.
so
and same idea. It's like if you like in season 1, it was so easy to do like jab, jab, dry rush, jab into a medium or a heavy button. So jab into drive rush was just like such an easy combo starter. It's like, well, now that drive rushing has more scaling and they're putting jabs with more scaling, like I was saying, it's similar to in season 1 when you perfect parried something, you already had it in your head like, okay, this combo is not doing a lot of damage. I'm going for corner carry and Oki and probably a setup. And so now it's the same idea if you do like jab, jab, jab into drive rush. It's like, okay, now have the mindset of this combo is going to scale so heavily, just like perfect parry did, that I shouldn't be spending like OD, special attacks in here. Or I shouldn't be comboing into a super unless I'm draining all my meter and going into level 3 and really hoping it kills.
Yeah. I agree.
And Luke was notorious for that. Luke was notorious for getting jab, jab, jab into drive rush and then doing a combo that led you all the way to the corner, but it also did hollow damage. And so it's like...
We know.
Yeah, we know.
We all know.
Yeah. But I've been saying for a while that Luke needs nerfs, and so this is a welcome one.
What about this Sunday? This Sunday could work, but I'm a late sleeper, so you're not gonna catch me at 11. I gotta be honest. But I am down to play this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm down to play Sunday as well.
If Akuma has actual Vortex, like I think there might be,
Oh yeah.
I think he's got to be top 3 and his health only reason, not undisputed top 1. Wow.
Yeah, so Temper knows a little bit more about it than I do, but there's setups floating around online where you can like do a knockdown with Akuma, and there's like very specific timings where you like micro walk for a frame and then demon flip, and it's like basically a safe jump high low left right mix up.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Which makes sense. This is after the sweep after like Tatsu.
I don't know that. I don't know the exact setup off the top of
Okay.
my head. But it's it's one of those things where like I'm not surprised that the developers didn't figure it out because it requires these like very tight,
Nuanced, right? Like yeah, these little micro decisions that can change so much. I agree with that.
yeah.
After light Tatsu, heavy demon flip. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So you light Tatsu and then you do nothing.
Oh.
So you don't sweep, you don't heavy DP or anything. You light Tatsu, then go for the setup.
Interesting.
And so that's one of those things where it's like, do the developers want to leave that in and say, oh, like you get this nice mix up, but you left a lot of damage on the table to go for it, or they're going to look at it and say, oh, this wasn't intended. Let's change some frame data around so that this doesn't work anymore.
Because then that's it's up to the player to decide what they want, but the character can do both, right? You know, you can either get that fat damage and spend a lot of meter, or set up, where, you know, that's usually like the like a rushdown Cammy compared to I don't know, another type of character where she's in your face, she's not doing a lot of damage, but the mental damage and having to guess is wearing you out, rather than someone like Akuma who's just going to take a bunch of health, and him being able to do both.
Right, and I think the big difference here is like, if you put your opponent in the corner and then you go for like, let's say a safe jump, it's like, yeah, you put them in a bad spot. They're in a bad spot. You're supposed to be able to do something messed up to them. This is mid-screen. And so that's the part where it's
true,
like...
That's true.
Like, why can Akuma put you in a mix-up as if you're in the corner when you're in mid-screen, and then if you guess wrong, you're actually in the corner now?
All right, and then the last thing for general, I'm pretty sure, was the cross-up capable jumping light attacks. So this change applies to Luke, Jamie, Marissa, Lily, Juri, Ryu, E, Honda, Guile, Ken, and Aki.
Yeah, and so this basically makes it so if you jump light attack, you can't like immediately throw. And so you have an extra frame of recovery, so it gives your opponent that extra frame to acknowledge what's going on and react to that throw. Because I would do that a lot with Luke. I would like jump in, jab, and then throw. And it's like, oh, this is almost like a tick throw.
Makes sense. And this because of this standardizes it across the whole cast now, right? Which I think is...
Yeah, I assume that the list of characters they name right there is the ones that it applies to. And I'm assuming that means the characters that they haven't named already had it working that way already.
Temper says, it's messed up. I've used it a bit online tonight, but it's hard to execute. I'm sorry, it's hard to execute. It's still up to the Akuma to read defensive options, but still nothing like that in the game.
Yeah.
Very nice. And this is also new. This all came out, what, Wednesday? It's Friday right now?
Yeah, so it's been 48 hours.
Yeah, so... and all of this has been discovered already, so let alone what's going to be like next week and next month.
Oh, yeah, so we got the music.
Oh, the music. It's expensive, though.
Oh, my God. I was upset. I thought it was going to be free, Capcom.
Or, like...
I paid for the game. Give me the music.
One price for the whole bundle. Like, okay, I probably... To get everything, all their music, I probably would have spent $20.
I'm cheap. I would have spent 10.
I know you and I are a little different when it comes to that. But I will say, yeah, I would have spent $20. I think that's feasible. If you're going to go for every single game so far, okay, of course I wouldn't. I would have been plenty happy with 10, but okay, let's call it 20. But now I'm pretty sure I need to spend just to get, because Street Fighter V was broken up into 2 volumes.
Right, I think each pack is roughly $5. I think it works out
Yeah, because how much you need, and then how much coins you need to spend, so you can't just buy You have to buy the two.
The next level
Yeah,
up.
yeah, the $12 in order to spend it, and yeah.
I actually ran into that when I went to buy Akuma because I hadn't bought any. I forget what the in-game fighter coins are.
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't bought any yet, and so I was like, oh, like I actually want to buy Akuma, and then it was like, oh, like you need 350 coins to buy Akuma. I think it's like a $6 pack has 310 coins. I'm like, all right, so I can't do that. So what's the next one? Is it like 700 so I can buy 2 characters? Nope, it's 650.
Yeah, I think it's like 256 something, and then
So they make it perfectly so that if you buy this pack, you can buy like 1.9 characters.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
buy 2.
Yep. He says I used drive tickets, but only got third strike.
Yeah, so that is the good thing about the music. You can spend drive tickets and not have to spend any real money on them.
And I feel like there was an influx of them giving away drive tickets recently because of Akuma and the things that you could do in the battle hub now. Throw the fireball, get some drive tickets. Throw 5, get some drive tickets. Play on the cab, get some more. So I think it's good that they're handing some of that out for simple simple tasks for you to do. But there's just some that when it's like, oh, avatar battle for these drive tickets, I'm like, I'm skipping that. I'm not doing an avatar battle. I'm sorry.
So in that case, because they have given away a good amount of free drive tickets, you can get a lot of the music for free, especially if you don't want to get all of it. If there's like specific ones that you really like, it's like you probably have enough drive tickets to afford those.
But I've been spending drive tickets on costumes and colors. So my wallet was bone dry, and I was like, all right, maybe next time. We just got a lot of stuff for the channel too, and things. So we're like, we're gonna put a pause on that.
Yeah, on my account at home, I have 0 costumes, 0 colors.
Playing against level 8 Shin Akuma as well. I bet I had 20K. I was up.
Yeah.
My brother too. He messaged me and he was like, oh. I basically was like, yo, get off your wallet and buy Akuma. Like don't just diddly daddle with him here. You'll never get the full experience. You'll have that moment at night. Oh, I want to try it and figure this out. So you should totally buy him. It's only $6. And then he sent me 2 links. It was I could buy a season's pass for 30 and it comes with these things, or I could buy it for 50 and it comes with these things. And I know my brother, so I'm already like, I can't believe you even sent me the 50. And then he's like, oh, 50 is a lot of money, but it comes with more stuff. I'm like, yeah, well, more stuff, more money. Like I'm not mad at you if you buy just the $30 one. That's absolutely perfect, but just get it. Support your game. You love this game, right?
Yeah, I went as cheap as possible and just bought the $12 coin pack and then bought Akuma. and before I did that, I spent 3 of the rental. Because you get like the rental tickets.
Yeah.
You can try a new character for an hour. And so I used like 3 of them on Akuma before I was like, okay, this character's sick. I'm buying him.
Oh, wow. That's too funny. And you didn't even use them on any of the other characters? So no other character in Season 1 ever ignited anything for you?
Yeah. And so this is my first time using the rental ticket on anything.
Wow.
So I had 10 out of 10. That's like the most they let you hold on to. And there were times where like I unlocked new ones and they're like, we can't give you any more.
Yeah, oh man. See, so you should have tried those other characters. You would have gotten reimbursed anyway.
Aki, Akuma, Ed, not for me.
Not
Akuma. Rashid.
Yeah.
Aki, Rashid, Ed, not for me.
So speaking of Beefcake, you feeling full at home because you've been eating good with these buffs that you got here?
Yeah, so I haven't seen them all specifically, but I've seen and heard people talking a lot about Aki and all the changes that she got, where it's like she already, in a lot of people's opinion, was not as weak of a character as we initially thought, and she just needed a little bit of time for people to figure
marinate
her out.
Yeah,
and then it's like now that people have figured it out, and she's like, arguably like close to mid tier. It's like, okay, now she just got hella buffs. Now she might actually be top 5.
Wow. I feel like maybe we should just get right to the things and not go over.
Yeah, I agree. Let's skip the reasons why. Just tell me the stuff.
Yeah. Assisted combo, none of that. So back throws were all changed. It's a universal thing.
Yep.
Distance increase. Standing medium punch adjustment hurt box around the arms during the active frames reduced.
That's a good change for her. That's a buff.
Yep.
It'd be funny if like next to each thing it's like buff or nerf.
Yeah, right.
Like,
who used to do that? There'd be like a plus or a minus in front of it, or like a check or something. Standing heavy punch adjustment. Cancel window into target combo delayed by 1 frame. Disadvantage on block changed from 5 to 4.
That's a good buff.
And attack hitbox expanded downward. So That is all good things. Beefcake says, "Oh yeah, the game keeps reminding me of those rental tickets." Yeah, don't sleep on that. Standing light kick. Attack startup.
So the startup changing from 5 to 4 is huge because there's so many things in this game that are like, oh, this is -4, you can only do your 4-frame jab, or this is -5, you can do your other jabs, like your standing light kicks and things like that. So for her standing light kick to go from 5 to 4 is a huge change. She can have a lot more opportunities to start combos with that button.
And then they compensated it on the recovery. They put that frame at the end instead,
which is totally fine. Because if it hits, you don't care.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And then advantage on hit goes from +4 to +3,
which makes sense.
And then disadvantage on block changed from -2 to -3. So
which is really not that bad. I was thinking they might make it -4.
Yeah,
so being -3 is like totally.
She's still safe. She just lost her turn basically.
Yeah, and now you got to worry if she's gonna parry.
Standing medium kick, attack startup changed from 9 to 8. Overall technique length changed from 28 to 27 frames.
Yeah, so just chop the 1 frame off total.
I like that. And then pushback on hit reduce, so they'll be
easier to combo.
Exactly, yeah. Standing heavy kick, hurt box around the front of the feet during the first active frame reduce. Made the hurt box around the torso anti-air invincible from the second active frame until the end of the active frames. That's really good. Recovery when the attack misses changed from 21 to 18 frames, and recovery on block and hit unified. So crouching medium punch,
you can just spam it now.
That's huge right there.
And 18 frames is like pretty fast.
Ricky knows my feeling on Aki right now. I'm scared. Oh, and I saw someone directly talking about the Aki Akuma matchup and how that felt pretty lopsided in Aki's favor. Yeah,
because I forget what it's called, but the thing where she like coward crouches and then can like stab across the screen
is invincible to fireballs now, right?
Yeah,
so
it used to be that you had to like coward crouch below the fireball, and then as the fireball was passing you, then you do it.
Okay.
And like the timing's really strict, and like sometimes they have time to block or parry, and like sometimes you accidentally hit the fireball. Now it's like the fireball could be in the middle of the screen, and you can just do it.
Yeah. Her anti-air's got a good buff too.
Yeah, and I feel like her anti-airs was really like her weak spot, where like the difference between like an okay Aki and a really good Aki was how well they could anti-air with that character. So for the anti-airs to get buffed, it's like that just buffs every Aki player now.
Where were we? Medium punch, right? So now we're medium kick. Advantage on hit changed from +4 to +5,
which is so interesting because then they changed the light kick from 5 to 4. So it's like either way, either one of these changes would have led to a combo. Now it's like you both did it.
And advantage on block. This is huge. Goes from -3 to +1.
Right. So you can just press that button in someone's face, or even better, like you can drive rush into that button, and then they can't do anything. Like Kimberly's crouch medium kick is +1 on block. So like same idea. Like if you drive rush crouch medium kick, you're +5.
Beefcake says right here, you can dive through Rashid's level 2. That is huge.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that. That is massive. Yeah. Wow. Crouching heavy kick. Active frames increased. Recovery decreased. Hurt box around the feet reduced. Movement distance back and forth during the technique increased. Position when the technique ends has not changed. However, horizontal blowback on punish counter reduced.
That's good, so it'll be easier to combo.
All that
buffs.
Was good.
That's like
seriously.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buffs.
Yep, eaten. Jumping heavy kick. Active frame increase from 5 to 8. Hurt box
That's
added.
Such a big increase.
That is. Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised on that. Hurt box added during recovery to match visual. Interesting. Which is what you want to see that. You want to see something match what you're looking at rather than, wait, that's that? Or when you see something that looks so plus and it's actually minus or just safe.
Or it looks like it's safe, but you can actually like hit the invisible hurt box in front of the button.
Light punch target combo. Advantage on hit changed from 0 to +1. So
that's fine.
Not too bad. Light serpent lash. Attack hitbox expanded forward. The horizontal blowback on hit during Toxic Blossom is reduced. Hit effect on punish counter changed to backwards crumple regardless of whether the opponent is in a normal state or Toxic Blossom has been triggered.
So this is a really interesting change. So like if they punish counter you with that light whip, it's almost like like it doesn't matter if they're poisoned or not. You're gonna
You're
get
gonna
a
get
combo.
crumpled. Yeah,
You're gonna
absolutely.
get, crumple combo.
Yeah, drive rush in, and you're doing your thing.
Yeah, so it's like if they're toxic, then the window is even longer. You get an even better combo. But if they're not toxic, like you still get a combo off of that, which is pretty wild.
Heavy Serpent Lash. The timing of when the hurt box around the head is reduced changed from the 6th frame to the 4th frame. An input buffer now allowed starting with 10 frames before recovery ends. Interesting. Input buffer now allowed starting from 10. Okay. And then what? Oh, bug fix.
So I think that second change is going to make it. I'm assuming you can cancel that move into super, and I think that's what it's talking about. Is you can buffer into super.
Okay. Yeah, and then normal Nightshade Plus can now be canceled into overdrive snake step from the 36th frame of the technique with the end of the recovery frames. She got a lot, dude. Look at this list. And
they're
my god!
Like if any of them are nerfs, they're like minor, and there's only a few of them, and like everything's just like buff.
Hit effect when the opponent is not in the air changed from knockback to blowback knockdown. Good lord. Damage distribution changed from 400 plus 400 to 200 plus 600.
So I'm not exactly sure what attack that is.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they do those things, it's like, you know how like Akuma or even Ken for that matter can do like light DP into super, or you can do heavy DP into super. And it's like, well, the light DP actually does more damage because the first hit of light DP does more damage than the first hit of heavy DP.
Oh,
so that's what I'm thinking. That is, it's saying the first hit now does less damage. So if you cancel it, you don't get 400 damage plus your super. You only get 200 plus your super.
And the combination is still 800.
It's still the same, exactly. Yeah. So it only nerfs it if you cancel it.
And the second attack's active frames change from 7 to 9. That's a lot too. Well, Beefcake, what move is this? Toxic Wreath. Not exactly sure.
Is that just when she puts the poison on the ground?
I'm not sure. Do you have the FAT on your phone? Does that? What the slide means is you can OD slide after frame 36, which means she can delay it slightly. Oh, okay.
I'm looking up now. So what move was it? Toxic Wreath?
Toxic Wreath. Quarter circle back, heavy punch. It's the blow up bubble. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, bubble burst.
Why is that called Toxic Wreath?
Not that one.
The safe on block one. Okay.
Okay, on this thing it's called Poison Slash. Okay.
I posted through.
Oh, you know what's funny about this? So the damage numbers are all off. That should be 4,000. Shouldn't that be 4,000? 4,000? No, it is 4,000.
No, yeah, because then that would be no.
No, you're right.
Toxic Wreath is the big bubble you use to juggle. Okay. On the Button Club Twitter, I posted a survey of, were people happy about buffs, sad about nerfs, too easy to tell, or the game feels the same. And so many people were like, it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
And literally no one was crying about nerfs, which was surprising.
Well, there's a few characters I think that got nerfed more heavily than others. And I think for a lot of people, instead of complaining about it, they're just switching characters.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm done. I'm switching characters too. I'm out of here. I'm messing my whole shit up. All right. What else do we have here? Is all this like practical, or because we might be here all night if I actually read all of these?
We can skip it and just say
fully.
Aki got hella buffed, onto the next character.
Aki got hella buffed, dude, and y'all need to be worried about your boy Beefcake G. If you plan on going to Evo this year, okay, watch out for our bracket demon known as Beefcake. He'll be there to mess you up with his Aki.
Yeah, the best Aki in New England.
And what about, so everyone's talking about Blanca, especially your boy Mena.
I don't think he got nerfed very hard at all, to be honest with you. I mean, he clearly got nerfed. He was overtuned. He got nerfed. I think he's, strong, upper mid tier, probably just outside the top 10, but he's not unplayable. But I also
Yeah.
understand from Mena's point of view, he's not trying to make top 8. He's trying to get top 1 in every tournament he goes to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he has to use the very strongest characters. He can't use a character that's A tier. They have to be S tier. And so that being said, it's like, yeah, you could say Blanca got nerfed from S tier to A tier. And so from Mena's point of view, it's like he can't rely on the character to win tournaments with.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that.
Because isn't his tournament winnings kind of split between Blanca and Luke?
Yeah. But I think it's one of those things where like both characters were very, very strong. And so he could use whichever one he felt like, depending on the character matchup, the player matchup, or just how he felt that day. And so now it's like, okay, now given the changes, Luke is now clearly better than Blanca. So now he has like a good character and a not so good character. And it's like he's trying to win tournaments. He does this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he going to use a character that is weaker? He'd rather use Luke and then some other character that's super strong.
That's maybe moved around the tier list because of all these adjustments here.
Maybe Aki, who knows?
Maybe Aki, yeah, right. Let me just try and go through this quickly here. Standing medium punch, hurtbox okay. Around the arms, frames tend to... Okay, so
yes, that's a buff.
Okay, yep. Crouching light punch is now +5.
Which is fine.
Crouch medium punch has expanded the hurtbox 19 to 28 forward. Crouching medium kick, I've heard about this. Okay, 2 frames of recovery added on block or when the attack misses, which is very interesting. Advantage on block will not change. Hurtbox around the body from frames 13 to 28 expanded only when the attack misses. So this would you say this kind of got like the Luke crouching medium punch treatment on the last patch, where basically they don't want you just throwing it out, which is why it's got all these extra changes to when it misses?
Yeah, that, and I think having the extra recovery on block but not changing the frame advantage is just making it so like this happened a lot in Street Fighter V, where like someone would do a button that's negative, but it has such a small amount of blocks done that they treat it like it's plus. And it's like, well, if you're not mashing, you're not going to be able to hit the button quick enough to stop them from doing another button. And so I think that's what this is doing. Like when Blanca did crouch medium kick and then when like went for a throw, it's like if you weren't already mashing jab, you were going to get thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that case, Blanca's treating the button like it's plus.
Mm-hmm. Superpower review in the house. That's Kevin, my brother.
What's up?
We should hang out tomorrow, Kevin. Let's hang out and play, stream and do things. What does this say? Rock Crusher forward medium punch. Advantage on block changed from 2 to -3,
which is just normal. That's how everyone else's overhead works, is -3. So when you drive rush, it's +1 on block. The fact that his was -2 and went up to +2 really didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And like that just goes to do with the system mechanics standardized so many things throughout the cast. Something like this also needs to be standardized as well. Aren't we competing tomorrow? Oh, Gaia's is tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you guys are going to that tournament in Rhode Island,
Oh, right? Damn! I forgot about that. Oh man. Coward Crouch. Input period for transition attacks changed from the starting on the first frame to starting on the 6th frame.
Yeah, so I think that means you can't cancel the Coward Crouch. Like instead of being able to cancel it immediately, it's like this 5 extra frames there
that you have to sit.
The player has to sit through, and also gives the opponent a little bit more time to react to the fact that they did Coward Crouch and then they're doing something else.
I'm just trying to pick up something that's a little bit more relevant here. Overdrive rolling attack. Oh, this was a big one, right? This is what they showed in the actual trailer, that he was able to combo into this. Hitbox from when Blanca is considered to be on the ground when the attack is blocked has been made 4 frames faster. Hurtbox from when Blanca is considered on the ground is now a standing hurtbox. Overdrive rolling attack. Again, yeah, landing recovery increased by 5 frames. Oh, Blanca-Chan Bomb. This is what I see everyone talking about. Added 20% of initial scaling. Changed combo scaling from 10% to 20%. So when you saw those 2 touches and all the different Blanca doll setups and the charge and the hit, and that would just kill, it's going to do, a little bit less now, which I think is warranted. Sometimes you watch yourself. I mean, if you're a Blanca player, of course you love it. But
Yeah.
if you're watching that happen to your guy on screen, you're like, what the hell is going on?
Right, and it's not an obvious setup. It's like, oh, here's a setup where there's like 3 different things the Blanca can do. And because the Blanca Chan combos off of a throw, it's like you're truly playing rock, paper, scissors, where instead of there being an option that wins, an option that loses, an option that ties, it's like, oh, there's 2 options that lose big damage and 1 option that ties. There is no winning in the situation.
Yeah,
you can't even wake up ODDP to get him off you.
You hear anyone talking about Cammy?
No, I haven't heard anything about Cammy.
No, me either.
Which I assume that means whatever changes they made to her were pretty benign and that she's roughly in the same spot, which is in the top 10 for sure.
And it all seemed like very little stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought she was like strong and pretty fair to begin with. So like, if the patch notes came out, we're like, yeah, we basically didn't change anything on her, but yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. Projectile invincibility now continues until frame 1. Okay. Yeah, this all seems very...
Oh, so this is an interesting one on the medium and heavy spin knuckle. So the projectile invincibility, instead of starting on frame 6, now it starts from frame 9. So you have to do it earlier to get around a fireball.
A little more preemptive and not on the reaction, basically, right?
Well, I think you can still react. I think you just have to react faster.
Yeah,
you can't react last second.
What else? Initial scaling changed from 20 to 30% with the overdrive fatal leg twister. That's that command grab, like demon flip command grab.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So that does a little bit less damage.
Oh, that's good, too, because a lot of times you would see a Cammy do that and then go right into level 3. And it would do, like, I forget exactly how much, like close to 50%.
For so, nothing. I remember
for a guess in neutral where it's like, oh, you got to react one time. And if you don't react that one time, you're dead.
Yeah. I remember seeing AJ do that a couple of times when he was there last week and being like, God damn, that's so good. Like...
Right, it's almost like when you're fighting Blanc and you forget he has the jumping command grab.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's like, it's annoying when Blanca does that and it's your fault for not reacting, but at least he can't combo it into level 3.
That's true.
Cammy can.
That's true.
So whose one was this, Chun?
This is Chun-Li now.
Yeah, I think she got nerfed. I forget.
But I think it's all like little things that added up.
Yeah.
Standing heavy kick, initial scaling of 20% added. Standing heavy punch, hurt box around the feet and head of frames, 5 to 12 reduced. Disadvantage on block changed from -4 to -3. Okay.
So that's a good buff.
Yeah, pushback on block increased. What's the?
So that's good for her. This because you want the stand heavy punch to have pushback on block.
Because it'll keep her like in that same space while she's moving forward with it. They'll kind of remain the same, right?
Yeah, she's using it as a poke. So like for it to be -3 now, which means even if she does it point blank, you can't punish her for it. And then if she's doing it from further out, there's more pushback. So she stays in neutral. So like she's pushing you back. She can either choose to like walk forward and do it again, or she can throw a fireball, or she can just like wait to see if you jump.
Swift thrust special move cancel timing changed from frames 7 to 11 to frames 7 to 9. Okay, it's really not anything big. Drive rush cancel timing changed from frame 11 to frame 9.
So I think that means you have to be a little bit faster with it, and so I think that means it's harder to confirm.
Lotus Fist changed opponent's reaction when the second attack hits or is blocked. Let me just see here. Initial 20% scaling added when it comes to the overdrive Kikoken. But that was kind of something that they did around... Oh, not exactly. Like, Fireballs kind of got changed for everyone, but this is a different like situation.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, her OD Fireball leaves you grounded, so I think she can extend the combo with it in the corner.
Okay.
And so I think that's all that was, is like, oh, if you're doing a corner combo and you throw in an OD Kikoken to continue the combo, you're not doing way more damage now.
Oh, they adjusted the overdrive aerial legs. Damage changed from 200 times 5 plus 300. That's a math equation for you.
Yep.
To 250 times 5 plus 350. So it's going to end up doing more altogether. Reduced landing recovery by 10 frames. That's huge.
Yeah.
Increased knockdown time on hit by 7 frames. Reduced blowback time on hit.
That's buffed.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was one of those cases where like nobody was using it because it wasn't good.
Yeah. So
And I think in general, a lot of OD attacks are getting buffs because you can't use Drive Rush as much anymore. And so it's like because you have to switch from using Drive Rush to using your OD attacks, we want to give you a reason to use them.
Which makes sense because then you're going to be burning 2 bars instead of the 3.
And getting more damage.
And you should be, that should be like on the menu basically, rather than like, no, I need to Drive Rush cancel this in order to get anything. Like, no, now I feel like I'll have some options here.
Yeah, because in Season 1, it was almost never worth it to spend OD.
No, you never saw it.
Yeah, because even with like Luke's OD Knuckle, it's like towards the end of Season 1, I started using it because I was kind of like doing the math and being like, oh, like if I do my Drive Rush combo, I don't get that much more damage, but losing the 3rd bar is actually meaningful. And so I started to replace my Drive Rushes with my OD Knuckles. But now that Drive Rush damage is nerfed, and actually Luke's OD Knuckle into the follow-up is stronger, it's like a good change. Like, yeah, I should be using my OD attacks more.
So I guess, and now that we've said that, and knowing what has changed with Guile, I guess that makes more sense now with them wanting to show you that OD Blade to OD Boom is 3 bars instead of the 2, and that you can get that wall splat. Big damage. I don't know if you saw that recently. Yeah. Really, really big damage. Aerial Kikosho damage 600 to 800.
That's good.
And then, yeah, that's pretty good. And then this last one here, change Super Art Gauge increase for Chun-Li from 100% to 70% for follow-up combos. So when she does all that extra toe tap stuff, it'll scale a little bit more.
Yep.
That makes sense. Some of those looked really damaging. And then...
Right, and on top of that, it's like she gets great corner carry and she gets a safe jump setup. So it's like it shouldn't be doing big damage as well.
And all that, yeah. And then where's your boy Temper in the chat? Let's talk about some DJ for a second. You talked to me about some DJ.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Temper about it last night when we were playing, and the consensus online and through the patch notes is that DJ got heavy nerfs, but I don't actually think it's all that bad. I think that like certain parts of his kit are nerfed and certain parts of his kit are either untouched or even buffed. And so I think it's like the DJ players that like had a certain combo route. If that route got nerfed, that DJ player is going to feel like, oh, my character sucks now. When in reality, it's like, oh, you just have to do a different combo route now, and your character is actually still pretty good. I think that before Season 2, like the end of Season 1, it was pretty easy to argue that DJ was like a top 5 character.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, he got nerfed a good amount, and Akuma's probably top 5 if I had to guess. And so I would say that DJ's probably no longer top 5, but probably still top 10.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, I think that if you're a DJ player and you feel like your character got nerfed so bad that you have to switch characters, it's like you're probably like abusing his tools instead of using his tools.
Yeah, or it's on you, right? And honestly, there's so much doom and gloom in the fighting game community, especially on Twitter. So anytime they make any change, someone is up in arms, oh my god, they took this one combo away from DJ, the character's unplayable, Capcom, what have you done? Rather than, just give it the time, right?
Yeah, DJ reminds me so much of Urian because, like, there were Urian players I would run into online in Street Fighter V where it was like, an Ultra Diamond Urian. I'm like, oh, this is going to be free because Urian is such like a he plays for you kind of character that it's like, well, if they're only Ultra Diamond and they're playing ranked all the time, I'm going to blow them up. But if I run into like an Ultra Diamond Ryu, I was like, oh, this guy actually knows how to play.
Yeah.
Because it's way harder to get to that rank with Ryu.
He's struggled in the trenches to get there, and I know what you're saying.
And so DJ kind of reminds me of the same type of character where like if I run into like a master rank DJ with like 1,500 points, I'm like, oh, this is going to be like the easiest fight of my life. But if I run into like a master rank Lily, I'm like, oh, like I don't even really understand how this character works. I'm gonna get smoked right now.
Shoutouts to Tomlet.
Yeah, shoutouts to Tomlet, Master Lily.
I don't even know. What did I say? That I mentioned that one already. Initial scaling on. No, I haven't said anything.
So the
yet.
stand heavy punch scales is 20%, and then I think a lot of the universal nerfs that everybody got applies to DJ, like
kick cross up.
Yep, and then the jab into drive rush doing a lot less damage because he would get so much off of those.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it doesn't look like, as I'm trying to get everything, it doesn't look super massive, right? like there's a lot of words here, but for like if you're just kind of scaling over it and seeing what's changed, super art increases on block was the same as on hit, so it's been changed from 1,000 to 500.
The amount of super meter you get.
Yeah, yeah. And the super art increase when only the second attack hits a mid-air opponent on counter hit was half of the expected value, so it's been changed from 500 to. So this is what's crazy about that is that, like they said right there, right? Unexpected value. It's half of the expected value. I'm sorry. So that's something they just missed out on, basically.
Yeah, yes, that's like a bug fix.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Added initial scaling of 20% to Overdrive Air Slasher. And increase the combo count upper limit on the second attack. Okay. What else here? Jackknife. Oh, this was kind of big, right? Knee shot, got shot. Crouching medium kick, not changed, feels like at all. Soba. Oh, is this what you're... No, he said the knee.
Yeah, so it was higher up. The knee
shot.
shot.
Knee shot. Okay, okay. Reduce the attack hitbox, making it more difficult to hit opponents above DJ. DJ is considered a punish counter state from the second active frame and after. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you're coming in with a knee and you DP him, I think it's a punish counter.
And then normal funky slicer. Added initial scaling of 20%. Recovery changed from 22 to 25 when the attack misses or hits super armor. And this, excuse me if I'm wrong, this is the move that they changed in that combo where you could do two of them, right?
No, so this is the sway low.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so button into DP works, you just said. Yep, yep. Normal maximum strike. Added anti-air invincibility to the body between frames 15 and 9. Oh, so that's the overhead one then, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. There's a lot here, but it all doesn't look substantial. Combo scaling 20%.
His damage is increased on his level 1. Disadvantage on block changed from 24 to -12. That's a good change.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they showed in the trailer too, right?
Yeah.
And then fixed an issue where the frame meter displayed this move as completely invincible on the first frame. Jesus.
Yeah, it's not invincible at all.
And then Super Art 2, after following up after the hit, DJ's Super Art gauge increase until the combo ends, is changed to 70%.
Yeah, so it's similar to the Chun-Li change.
Interesting. Dalsum. Oh my god.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting tired of reading these patch notes.
Yeah, right? Okay, so what do you want to do then? You want to go to any important characters then?
You mean Luke?
You mean Luke?
Let's just scroll through. So Honda. So in roughly from what I've heard, Honda is buffed if you're playing him the way he's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
But he's nerfed if you're just spamming headbutt and butt slam.
Yeah, yeah. If you're playing month 1 through 3 of E-Honda, yeah, you lost it. But right now, and because I follow Rooflemonger so much on social media, he has been showing a lot of stuff. And there was even one instance where people, I think it was butt slam that leaves you closer now.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the overhead mix right into it.
Oh, wow.
So he at least has that now. And look, I mean, look at
so
this
many
changes.
Yeah, I feel like they redid the character.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Sorry, guys. If that's what you were hoping for, I'm sorry.
This would be like 10 different streams if we read every line.
Yeah,
from every
and honestly, I'm glad I didn't even try to do this too because I would have lost my mind.
But let's talk about Guile because he's your main.
Let's talk about Guile. Okay.
What did they change on him? Because I really don't know.
It's all really little stuff, and there were rumors about like his Sobot kick getting changed, and that actually wasn't real. So it says here, standing heavy punch adjustment, initial scaling 20% added. What were you going to say? You were going to say something?
So the stand heavy punch scaling of 20% means that if he gets, like, let's say your opponent does something that's -4, you do crouch jab, which has extra scaling, combos into stand heavy punch, which has extra scaling, then you drive rush, which has extra scaling. You're not doing hardly any damage anymore, which I think makes sense. You're not supposed to be doing big damage off of a 4-frame with Guile. You're supposed to be zoning.
What's up, Brian? Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you're enjoying the stream. This is the live version of Safe Sets podcast. What else? Crouching medium punch. Recovery changed from 13 to 16 frames only when the attack misses. Hurtbox from frames 20 to 24 expanded forward only when the attack misses. So
that's the Luke Crouch medium punch nerf where it's you can't just spam this in neutral anymore.
Yep.
Ryan.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
I'm just trying to copy you. Jumping medium kick. Damage changed from 500 to 600 because no one was using it.
Yeah, I use jump medium punch with Guile a lot.
Because it's the straight through. Yep. Forward heavy kick. Hit effect during a mid-air counter hit changed from mid-air recovery to blowback knockdown.
My brain can't comprehend this right now.
All right. I'm glad I'm
not
the only
important.
one. Recoil cannon.
That's the target combo.
Oh, okay. Yep. The target combo. Universal adjustment. While using classic controls, the second attack will not be performed if heavy kick is... Oh, that's nothing.
That's for mashers.
Yeah, that's
Quit
nothing.
mashing.
Yep. Double shot. Okay, the crouching medium punch target combo. Horizontal blowback on hit reduced. Universal adjustment. While using classic controls, same thing. Don't be pressing other buttons.
Yeah, but the horizontal blowback on hit reduced is good. That means the second one's going to whiff less often.
Oh, that's true.
And it's same thing, like doing crouch medium punch, flash kick. It's like sometimes the second crouch medium punch whiffs, and sometimes they both hit and then the flash kick will whiff. Now I think it'll more than likely or more often all three will connect.
I age an extra day every time I miss a flash kick, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Brian, trying to learn how not to suck at Street Fighter 6. Seriously, I'm a button masher and it sucks. That's okay, man. We all start there. Time's on your side. By next year at this time, you will be that much better. I assure you.
Yeah, my biggest advice for anyone who doesn't have a local community, reach out and try to find your local community and find people that you can play with online. Because playing by yourself, whether in training mode or against the computer, isn't great practice. And also just jumping into ranked and you either win or you lose, but you're not really understanding what's going on or why. It's also really inefficient training. So if you can find local players to play with and talk to while you're playing online, that's the most efficient way to train, the best way to get better, in my opinion.
He knows. This is your weekly winner right there. Normal Sonic Boom. Drive gauge reduction on block changed to the following. Medium version from 2,500 to 4,000. And then heavy version from 2,500 to 3,000.
So if they block Sonic Booms, it does more chip damage on the drive gauge.
Reduction on block changed to...
So the numbers don't really make sense because we don't think of the drive gauge in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
But it's saying, if you block a medium boom, wait, does that mean the medium Sonic Boom does more chip damage than the heavy one? I guess that would make sense. They went from doing the same amount of drive meter chip to the medium one does more chip damage.
Okay. But why?
I mean, the heavy one does more chip damage than before, and the medium one does even more. I think they just want you to parry a neutral and not sit there and block Sonic Booms.
Okay.
And also, I think it's I think they just want you to parry Sonic Booms.
And then Overdrive Sonic Boom, initial scaling of 20% added. Okay.
That's fine.
The drive gauge consumption when performing the move changed from 20,000 to 10,000.
So it costs half.
Exactly. So instead of 4 bars to perform this, it's now only going to be 3, which is similar to what Luke has.
Is that what the number is? It's is each bar 5,000?
That I'm not sure. I just know that when I've done this, that's how much it takes out. So I guess that would make sense then, right?
Right, because then what it's saying is it's going from... Wait. Or is each one 10,000? It's going from 2 bars to 1 bar?
Well, it's going from 4 bars to 3 bars. So if this is 4 and this is 3, no, that doesn't make sense either.
No, I think it went from 4 bars to 3 bars. So I think you have to spend 2 bars on the first one.
And then this would be 2.
Right, so it's 4.
But now it's 3 altogether. Yeah,
right.
This is 2, and this will be 1.
Right, so I think each bar is 10,000. It's saying the follow-up has changed from 2 bars to 1 bar.
Okay, all right. That makes sense.
And that also makes sense looking at the amount of chip damage it does with the Sonic Booms. And so now it's going from a quarter of a bar to like a third of a bar on block when you
Mm-hmm.
block the medium and heavy booms.
Brian, where are you from? What state you live in or something? There's got to be something in your area. And if not, the harder it is to find, the more worthy it might be to join up in.
Yeah, I think Ultra David, if I'm not mistaken, put together like a list of all the local FGCs, and it's like not only
That's
like
true.
every single state in the United States, it's like other countries like the Netherlands, France.
That's actually brilliant. Yeah, check out Ultra David on Twitter. And this is from a little while ago, but it'd be easier to find that than maybe finding a local through Google. And he's got it all listed out through states and everything. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, he has like basically an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
search by country, by state, and there's a lot in there. There's like hundreds of rows.
Yeah, I found his sheet today. Oh, excellent. Oh, well, there you go. Then you're on your way. So this, you know how long?
And my advice, if the TO doesn't reach back out to you, just show up at the local. If you can figure out where it is and when it is, just show up.
Yep. Just show up.
Introduce yourself in person.
That's right.
Because I feel like pretty much every TO in the FGC, I'm sure there's one or two that aren't friendly. I feel like every TO is great and they're there for a reason. It's, you don't start being a TO unless you're volunteering. If there's any money in it whatsoever, it's years into doing it. And so if a TO doesn't get back to you, they probably didn't see your message and
they're too busy.
Yeah,
in the
they're
moment.
too busy.
Yeah.
So if you just show up and introduce yourself in person, and they'll introduce you to all the players. And
that's also great. Start GG also has a search via location, which is exactly how Rez found out about Button Club. So
nice.
That's actually really good. All you were talking about was just Dan. I was looking for a way to throw Dan on the bus just for a second.
Dan. Yeah.
They're all really nice except for that Dan.
Yeah. Dan sucks.
He's really nice, but he sucks. And this is all just drive gauge changes also between light medium version of Sonic Cross, which you know how long that took me to find out that you never had to go back and actually charge?
Oh, yeah.
That took me a bit.
I realized it like at the very beginning of Street Fighter 6 because I was having a hard time doing it because I was trying to charge it, and I'm like, there's not enough time to charge. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, you don't have to charge it. You can just mash.
Yep. And then here, Sonic Cross wall splat time after attack hits increased by 3 frames. So I guess it did this before, but it just wasn't long enough to do anything for. Fixed an issue where the overdrive Sonic blade hit in the corner of the stage. The transition Sonic boom would not change to Sonic Cross. Interesting. Okay. While using classic controls, yeah.
Button mashing fix.
So, none of this is super huge. Guile, I thought, was in a pretty good spot anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't need really any changes.
Yeah, some of these things are slight nerfs, but they're nothing that you should really be crying about, in my opinion.
If you're a Guile main, you're not switching off Guile. For these reasons. Because of the Season 2 changes is not the reason you're switching off of Guile.
And then everyone, so you all right, this has become a meme at Button Club actually, because anytime this character is brought up, and there's only one person at Button Club, Tomato, that plays this character, but it's, you said he was the worst character in the game.
He is the worst character in the game by design.
You're living with those words. People will bring that up.
He doesn't have all his tools, and he doesn't do 100% damage until he wastes 2 or 3 of his turns on Oki to get his tools and damage back. And then when he has like 3 drinks and he has, pretty much all his tools and he's doing 100% damage, he's as good as a character like Luke, but he's not better than Luke. And Luke didn't have to spend all those turns getting drinks.
I know he's eating pretty good. I know they changed, what's this right here? Crouching medium punch now allows him to cancel into overdrive swagger step. So that was really, really big for him.
I think he got a lot of good changes. A lot of things that didn't work when they really should have, and now they're going to work for him.
And dive kick. I heard dive kick too. Someone was showing off the hit and hurt boxes on it today, and it looks more like
it should.
More like it should. Yeah.
I think before the hurt box on it was so large and so easy to anti-air that it became like a meme in the FGC.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they've made it amazing. I think they've made it not so bad that you're gonna make Twitter clips about it anymore.
Yeah. So he's getting up there. This will help him climb up at least a little bit, but not exponentially, right?
No, yeah, I think this is lots of changes, but lots of good buffs for Jamie mains. I don't think anyone's gonna drop a strong character that's still strong and switch to Jamie because he got these buffs.
Yeah, that's true. And
I think like no one's dropping Luke to pick up Jamie.
No. Unless you are doing it just for fun, just to get it to master, or need to learn the matchup better, maybe. But even then, you might be just spending your time. You could be spending it a little more wisely. But this almost matches what we saw for E Honda. This is a complete that's true. Yeah. It's like a complete retooling of the character. This is a character that will be slept on for a while and no one's going to care about. But when the changes and buffs catch up to him for season 4 and 5, he's going to be a monster. This character will be a problem.
I was going to say, even late in season 2, like once a really strong player who loves this character, spends months and months honing their skills with all the new changes and utilizes all of his tools effectively, it's like you're going to see a pro player come in like top 3 at a major, and everyone's going to be like, is this player godlike, or is just Jamie not suck anymore? And the answer is both.
JP, lots of changes for JP also. I mean...
Yeah, so without reading all these changes...
Yeah, you know what they all are?
I'm getting burnt out IRL, so
okay.
He got nerfed heavily, and JP mains are upset about this. And you're going to see a lot of your local JP mains switching to a new character.
I'm going to put this Event Hub's link into the stream so you guys can click on this yourself and check it out. But for the most part...
Ken got buffs and no one can understand why.
Yeah, and it didn't look like he was going to get much, or if anything, he would get some nerfs. And honestly, the rule of thumb right now is that every Shoto in this game is strong.
Yes.
Is super, super strong.
Yeah, I feel like the most popular characters, which is like Ryu, Ken, Luke, and Ed, and probably Akuma now.
Yeah.
Are super duper strong. And like that makes sense. Like whatever your players are playing the most, buff those. Like buff the characters that most people are playing, and most of your player base will be happier.
Like this guy right here, Kimberly, looking on the up and up, definitely got some buffs, and quality of life.
And I didn't think Kimberly was all that bad last season. I think the only thing you could argue about her that isn't like amazing is that she has to go for mix-ups to get her damage off. But she's great at going for mix-ups. She's a mix-up character.
Yeah.
So if she was like super solid and getting damage without taking any risks, she'd be too good, probably.
Yeah, she would instantly skyrocket to a S tier for sure.
Yeah.
And then Lily, I think Lily got a lot of cool things that are going to help her out. But
yeah, and again, similar to Jamie, it's like if you're already playing Lily, if you're a Lily main, these buffs are going to help you. But if you weren't interested in Lily before, these buffs are not significant enough that you're going to switch to Lily because she's so much stronger that she's going to help you win. I just don't think that's the case.
Rez says Toasty's gone to the dark side in more ways than one, because not only is he going to switch to Akuma, but he was also using his Razor Kitsune leverless here on Wednesday. Because every week I'm like, so you bought that cool thing. How come you're not using that cool thing? And the more divided you are between one or the other, the harder it's going to be to get better. Like you need to just cold snap. No, I'm doing this. This is the only controller I'm using.
Yes, that's my advice too. If you bought a hitbox, one of two things must happen. Either you switch to it cold turkey and you suffer for a little bit, and then you're cheating for the rest of your life, or you don't use it, you sell it, you give it to a friend, something. But it's unfortunately true. I would say probably close to 50% of the players in the FGC that have bought a hitbox are actually hitbox players. And the other ones tried it for like a week and was like, nope, not for me.
And didn't make sense. Like,
Milk.
I was just going to say Milk. I thought for sure he was going to switch to hitbox and then love it. Sold it in like a week or two.
Yep.
Which now I have. and then a few weeks ago, he was asking, like, so what's a really good hitbox to get? And I'm like, if you didn't like the hitbox brand, I don't know what else is anything else is going to do for you, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Like, if you tried a leverless controller and didn't like it and didn't stick with it, you probably shouldn't try it again. You're probably not going to stick with it the second time either.
Because that's the thing that people don't realize. They think they're going to switch to the controller and it's going to be all set, rather than like, I need to learn this controller, change the muscle memory, figure out all this extra shit. How am I going to do it with my character now? They don't realize. They just think like this is the answer, but the answer is using the tool enough to get to that point, right?
Right, and I always say this. When I used to play on pad, and when I switched to fight stick, it made me feel like I wasn't playing well, and I wasn't playing well. I wasn't doing the things that I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It took me about 6 months of playing consistently to get back to where I was back when I was playing on pad. And then same thing, even switching from stick to leverless, it took me about 6 months of using it like, probably like 5 days a week, maybe 2-3 hours at a time to get as good as I used to be on stick. And so when you switch to a new controller, especially if you're switching like from pad to stick or from pad or stick to hitbox or leverless rather, you're going to spend months not being as good as you used to be. And it's really like the long-term payoff after months of struggling, where all of a sudden you're not thinking about what you're doing anymore. Now it's automatic.
Just like what you were saying about characters earlier. You're going to switch characters now. If
you're going to suck for a while.
Yeah, you're going to suck for a while because you got to learn everything all over again.
Yeah, and you're going to mix up your routes with your other characters, and then eventually you're going to go back to your main, and you're going to try to do, I'm going to try to Tatsu with Luke.
yeah, right. Which Luke, how is Luke doing in this patch right now? You should know more than anything, but you haven't even used it, right?
Yeah, so I haven't gotten a chance to touch Luke since the patch came out. I've only played the game a couple hours since the new release because I've just been working so much. And so I've only touched Akuma. But from what I see with the changes, Luke is hardly nerfed at all. And the big buff he got is that his stand heavy punch can combo into the light perfect knuckle without counter hit or punish counter. And I wanted to check it in training mode. I haven't gotten the chance to see if you can do a punish counter stand heavy punch into a perfect medium knuckle charge, because that would be huge if you can.
I think they normalized some of his damage too. I saw him do like his new main combo route, and it wasn't in the 6,000 plus per of damage. So
yeah, and luckily for me, the biggest nerfs I think he got was to his damage output, which I think is totally fine. Like, his damage output was way too high before.
It was.
Because he has great corner carry and great Oki. He doesn't need that much damage. So if you're going to take something away from him, I would have volunteered, take away some of his damage, but keep most of his combo routes because they're so cool and fun to do. And there's different routes to do for different situations. And so I liked having that to be deciding while I'm comboing, I'm going to end it with this ender for this reason, and I know my setup afterwards. So you feel like you know what you're doing versus just doing the same ender every single time, which was pretty much most characters back in Street Fighter V days.
Good Lord. I'm just still scrolling while you're...
Yeah. So
I'm almost done with it. I just want to at least touch upon everybody since we started it. And then we can
There's a lot of characters.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters. So that was Luke, and then Manon and Marissa, slight little improvements. Nothing that I think is groundbreaking or...
There's one thing with Manon that I think we should cover is, I think it's her crouch heavy punch.
There's so many. Back throw, so it should really start here. Bug fix, standing medium punch.
I'm forgetting what normal is, but it's, yeah.
Input buffer will now read from 8 frames before.
Because I think it was her crouch heavy punch, and I could be wrong about what button it is, but I think she had a button that went from -1 on block to +1 on block. Oh, right here. Back heavy punch. From -3 to +1, and she's a grappler. So if you block that move, now you're guessing.
Yeah.
And then, what was the change they made to her crouch medium kick? I think it was. I think it's better on hit.
Crouching medium kick advantage is an extra frame, yeah.
Right. So now if you get counter hit, now it's +5. So you put yourself in a +1 situation, and then you have to guess button or throw. And if she goes for crouch medium kick, it's like, yeah, it's a big deal. I think that they made her much stronger. And then also I think her level 3 and critical art get bonus damage depending on how many medals she has.
Oh, yeah. Right here. Yep. Damage now changes depending on Manon's medal level super art 3. So from 4,000
up to 4,600.
Up to 4,600 regular super art 3 with the medals.
And then with critical art, it's basically an extra 10%.
Yeah, an extra 500 points per level.
Well, you're right. It's an extra 500 per level. I was thinking it was 10%, but you're right. It's more. It's an extra 500 per level.
Yeah, that's a lot. Pretty big.
I saw someone do a thing. It was I think they did like a punish counter. I I'm forgetting the normal. I think it was like down forward heavy kick with Manon right into CA, and it did like 6,000 damage.
Oh my
I was
god!
like, oh my god! Don't whiff in
Jesus.
neutral.
Marissa got a couple extra things, target combos, and being able to cancel level 2 into target combo. This actually looks like a lot of stuff here,
Yeah, a lot of
honestly.
changes. I think the moral of the story, at least from what I could gather, is that like a lot of characters got damaged nerfs, and she got it less so that she looks like she's doing crazy damage. And I think that's supposed to be her design. Is
Absolutely.
Like she's not terrible in most areas, but she's definitely lacking compared to some of the other top tiers. But if she hits you once, it's guess free.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
I mean,
all or nothing.
The 2-touch combo that she had against Akuma in training mode was gnarly because the first combo was 20 to 30, 100, and then the rest of it was just, oh, now you're gonna wake up DP. Here's this huge punish counter, super art level 3, and yeah. Then we got Rashid. Rashid seemed like moderate changes.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything big with him, and I don't think he really needed anything.
I don't think he really. Yeah, I think he was in a great space, and maybe adjust Super Art 2 or something. Maybe make that a little worse, but
yeah, it's tough to say because I feel like there's a lot of level 2s that basically act like V triggers, and so I feel like if you touch any of them, you have to touch.
You have to touch them all to keep it even.
And I think they did touch on the meter gain that they get once they popped them. And so I think that's pretty good. Zangief got big buffs.
Hold on. Let me just scroll the rest of that for you. I went way too far.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So we were just talking about Marissa.
Yeah, so she's
that's a lot.
She's big damage to the character. Rashid's the same. If you're a Rashid main, you stay on Rashid. Ryu got big buffs, which it wasn't that I was surprised in that I didn't think he needed it. I was like, I think he needed it, and I didn't think Capcom was going to give it to him.
Wow.
Just because they haven't been showing Ryu love since like day 1 of Street Fighter V.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like they gave him buffs in Street Fighter V, but they didn't buff him into A tier.
No. Once he got knocked down, in the very beginning, he was considered, top 3, top 5 in the cast, and then I think like every time he just went down, and that might also be just because the game is new. I know he still had weak tools in those moments, but
yeah, I would honestly chalk it up to the fact that DPs were invincible in season 1 of Street Fighter V, and also because the game was new and there were so few characters, a lot of pro players like Daigo and Tokido were playing Ryu without. I don't think they necessarily tried every character and chose the strongest one. I think they were like, oh, Ken is weird compared to Ryu as far as Shotos go in this game, so let's just play the most basic Shoto, and we're the strongest players in the world, so we'll make it work.
It's the best way to learn a game, in my opinion, too. Just go with simple and then start
simple and simple and something that's familiar to you, and then figure the rest out as you go.
But these are all of his changes. I can't go through all, but
I see 500 to 700, +3 to +4. Everything's going up for him.
Recovery changed from 14 to 13.
Oh, the big change. Forward heavy punch on block. Solar
plexus. +3.
From +1 to +3.
That was huge, and I expect a lot of people to be abusing that.
More so than they already have.
And they also changed his axe kick is now a lot more reliable in combos. So I saw someone do like axe kick to donkey kick, and then axe kick again on the return till you can do Super Art 1, or you can end in DP. I even saw people use axe kick like 3 times in a combo just to show this is actually working as intended now. So
nice.
So many things. I gotta be honest.
Just above the solar plexus, the collarbone breaker, the overhead.
Yeah.
So on hit, it went from +2 to +3. This doesn't make sense. The disadvantage on block is now -1. I felt like overheads being -3 on block is like standard and what they're supposed to be, so you can dry rush to make them +1. Now, if you just dry rush into overhead, he's +3. That doesn't really make sense.
No, and something like that might get changed again, right? They might be like, you know what? After all this time, we're going to retract this basically.
Yeah, I just think it makes a lot of sense for
it to be standard.
Yeah, overhead should be roughly the same startup frames, and they should all be -3 on block. Like if the frame data on hit or on block are drastically different for a character, it should be because the startup is drastically different. So like if one character had it like -6 on block, it better have a faster startup. If a character has one like Ryu's that's -1 on block, it should be much slower on startup, I would assume. But I don't think it is.
Nope. Whirlwind kick. Oh yeah, that's the forward heavy kick one. Hurtbox. Yeah, axe kick. Yeah, grounded bound effect added when the second attack hits an airborne attack. So cool. And that, yes, this is huge. The target combo being able to go into Denjin charge.
And now it's only -4 on block.
The target combo itself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the target combo. Yeah. So like if you mess up and you do all the hits,
it's a light punish.
You're still getting punished, but yeah, it's a light button, and you're probably going to do a light button into a drive rush, so it's like no damage.
Normal Hadoken. It's insane. It's kind of crazy. Even just, I don't even have to read all of it. Just look at all that's here.
You're seeing like the good numbers go up, the bad numbers go down.
Yeah.
It's like everything across the board. Look at this damage increase on this critical Super Art 2.
From 20, yeah. Oh, because he can charge that one and then with the Denjin. Yep. Removed projectile clash hitbox. That's sick. And then non-cinematic version damage changed from 2600 to 3600. So that's almost, because the full animation is 4,000, right?
I think so. That sounds about right. So
yeah.
It's close to the same damage.
So instead of it being just such like, oh man, I only got half the animation, I got half the
damage.
No, you're only missing out on 400 points of damage instead. So,
and I think there might be situations where you can get better Oki off the non-cinematic version. So I wonder if there's going to be situations where Ryu's going to choose to do the non-cinematic because they only lose a little bit of damage and then get this
the next
great
setup.
Oki.
Yeah,
right.
Especially if it's like, well, this isn't going to kill, but I want to get this out there, get the life deficit, and then one more safe jump mix up something.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to lab it to figure out what that thing is.
Exactly.
If my assumption is correct that you get better Oki off the non-cinematic version, then Ryu's might be changing their combo routes to make sure they don't get the animation if it's not going to kill.
Everyone's changing their combo routes right now. Everyone's got something to do. Zangief, and even just without talking, look at how long this list is for Zangief.
Yeah, and he just got big buffs.
Big buffs, quality of life.
The stand medium punch target combo where he does like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
There's less pushback on a hit, so it's more likely that they all hits connect.
Oh, nice. And then even being able to, what was it, crouching heavy punch gives you that bounce.
Yeah, the bounce, so he gets a full combo off of it, I think. Or at least he can air SPD probably off of it. Just big buffs.
I think hey, what's up, Wolverine? Thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
I think the biggest thing to say for season 2 would be what exactly? What's the big takeaway for season 2?
I think that if your character got heavily nerfed and you choose to switch characters, that's totally fine. But I don't think you should give up on your character because of the patch notes. You shouldn't give up on your character because you read the patch notes. You should play your character, understand the changes, try to remap your combo routes, and after a couple of weeks, you're like, this doesn't feel good anymore. I want to switch. Then it's like, okay, that's completely on you. Like you did your homework and it's not the same. Go ahead and switch. But I think a lot of people are switching like day one as like a knee-jerk reaction. Like someone on Twitter says our character sucks, everyone's got to switch off.
Yeah,
I think that's not fair. I think that especially characters like JP, for example, who got some pretty heavy nerfs, I think there's going to be like really high-level JP players like Kakeru who might stick it out with JP, and you're going to see him in top 8s regularly, and it's like, oh yeah, the character got nerfed, but like he's still totally functional.
Yeah, not even functional. He's still playing his game plan and doing it really, really well. It's just not as good as he was doing it previously, but if you're already at that level...
Right, like if your character got nerfed from being top 3 to being top 10, it's like work harder. You don't have to switch characters. Top 10 is great. But if your character went from mid-tier to low tier, I get it.
See, for me, it's actually... we had played last week.
Yep.
And I mentioned my... lack of satisfaction with how I was handling certain Guile things. And of course, that's up to me. If I'm strong enough, I can make Guile work in any situation, right? Just gotta put the time in.
And when you're saying dissatisfied with Guile things, it's you piloting Guile.
Yeah,
not fighting against Guile.
Yeah. I don't look at Guile and go, this character just doesn't have what it takes. I think there's some system mechanics in the game that don't let him play like he used to.
Yep.
But it doesn't really fault me in any way because I don't have experience from him in other games. It's my first time being a Guile main. After seeing these patch notes... Akuma looks attractive, but I don't think that in my skill level it's worth switching to Akuma right now because I feel like I'm still making lots of little silly mistakes, and when those happen, I'm going to get punished for them big time, and I don't want to put myself at that disadvantage.
Right, and also I would say for you in particular, because you mained Ken before you switched to Guile, and Ken just got buffs, it's like, do you want to switch to Akuma, who's probably also really good, but has this low health, or do you want to stick with your Shoto that you already know how to use, that just got buffs and still has 10,000 health? So I think they tried to give Ken mains a reason to stick with
to
Ken.
stay. And then for me, it really is, if I ignore everything about Season 2 patch notes,
Yep.
and I look at this big glowing red anomaly that is Ryu Season 2, that looks attractive to me.
Yeah.
Because, especially like you said, I've played Ken before, I've been in a Kumin before. When we were playing the demo of Street Fighter 6, I was all over Ryu.
Yeah.
That's the most Ryu I've probably played in this game. So that's what I was working on last night, was playing more Ryu and trying to work on the new things that he has. And part of me is wondering, is it cool to switch to Ryu because he's looking so good right now? And how would that affect me and my brother with how much more we can grow together because we both be playing the same character?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie, that looks a little attractive to me right now. But
I think it would be really interesting if you and your brother both played 3 characters, Ryu, Ken, and Guile, and I would imagine like you might have the better Guile and he might have the better Ryu, but like you're both playing all 3 characters at a competent level,
Yeah.
and you can kind of rock paper scissors your matchups.
yeah, I think that would be cool. And when I mentioned to him, because I told him a few times that you thought he would make a really good Guile, he's just like walled with the charge inputs, and I don't know, it seems so foreign. We were playing online one night, and I forgot to switch characters to Guile. So my match came up, he went in the bathroom, I was like, oh my god, I forgot to switch, I'm playing as Ryu. He goes, do you want me to hop on? I was like, no, I got this, let me try.
Yeah. Excellent adventure style.
Yeah.
We got this.
And I did the best I could, and then he forgot to switch it later.
And he got to play Guile.
But I'm so close to master. I was like, no, you're not playing this match. I'm sorry.
Not with my points.
No. You already got Ryu on my account to master. You're good. Like if I don't get master right now, I'm gonna flip. I made it by like 15 minutes getting my Guile into master.
Oh, before the server.
Shut off. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. We have 7 people in the chat. We are going to be wrapping it up. I'm going to give it another 8 minutes for tonight's podcast, just so that we're at an even 2 hours. So if you guys have any questions or comments about Season 2 or Akuma, now's your time to fire them off. We'll answer, and then we're going to call it a night so Ricky and I can get to playing some games.
Yes.
Yes.
So Wolverine, you asked what'd they do to Luke? Not much. So the universal change to Drive Rush and to jabs to nerf those damages are going to nerf a lot of Luke's damage output automatically. And then the one good buff he got was he can combo Stand Heavy Punch into Perfect Charge Light Knuckle without counter hit, which I don't think he really needed it, but we'll take him.
Wolverine says winners and losers of this patch.
So winners is definitely like Ryu, Ken, Aki, Zangief. Who else did we talk about?
Let me go through the list here. Oh my god. I'm going to be here all day, actually. I should have just done the link that Beefcake sent us, honestly. I think you're more or less right on par. Everyone else...
there might be 1 or 2 other characters that got big buffs that I'm just not remembering at the moment. But like the big losers, I would say, is probably like JP. People are saying DJ got nerfed pretty heavy, but we'll see how that pans out. But so I'll go ahead and say DJ got some decent nerfs.
Blanca
got some nerfs, but I don't think he got nerfed very much. I feel like they just normalized him a little bit.
Honestly, and E Honda, kind of from where he was, like he didn't win the Season 2 patch notes list, but
we got a new E Honda.
Yeah, we got a new E Honda. And who's the other character that we said is based like a new? Oh, and Jamie.
Yeah, and Jamie got big buffs.
Jamie.
So I think of the characters that got nerfed the most, it's probably like DJ and JP.
I agree.
And then Zangief got big buffs. Which again, I think Zangief's one of those characters where like if you're a Zangief main, these buffs are for you. And if you're not a Zangief main, there's a really small percentage of players that are going to switch to Zangief only because he's stronger now than he used to be.
Yeah, or maybe they're a Marissa main because they're like, well, she does more damage. She seems more relevant than Zangief. But hey, Zangief's got all these new tools now, and I've been a Zangief main before. I'm only playing Marissa right now because I think she's high on the tier list. You know what? Let's go back and dabble. And then as soon as I see the patch notes with all that with Zangief, I'm thinking Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes already.
Oh my god, Snake Eyes just won a major in his head.
Seriously, like he already does so well with the character where he's at, and everyone expects Zangief to be where he was, just like everyone expects Akuma to be broken.
Yep.
They expect Zangief to be low tier, but with the buffs that he got recently, it might not move him up too much in the tier list, 2 or 3 spots maybe, but his quality of life, if you're a Zangief main, you're doing really, really well right now.
Yeah, so if you're a player who's struggled against Zangief since Season 1, buckle up.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I thought it was interesting, too, a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned the Blanca matchup to play that like Zangief, and I've never had anyone make that correlation for me before. It made a whole lot of sense. Oh, I felt so bad that I punched the table on Monday after losing to Paces.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And then I went back and had to watch it, too, and I'm like, maybe the screen didn't shake too much. You won't really notice. I'm like, no, that's clear as day, a good punch to the table. And then right away I had to like clarify, that's not you. Like, that's me. And even outside, I was like, I just have to say, like, I'm not mad at you, obviously. I know we're all mature and we understand, but it should be said.
No, yeah, you don't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially since, this is a thing that I'm running, so I don't want people to be like, wow, like, Ryan got salty and the whole atmosphere changes in here. It's not how I want it to be, but...
Yeah, you never want to give anybody any reason to not want to be there.
Exactly. But in that moment, man, I was struggling, and I even told him outside, I said, I think I was just mostly mad that I felt like you beat me so easily, rather than, like, I lost, but I gave him a hard time. And I know he's a strong player and stuff like that, but I just wanted to make him work a little harder. When I felt like it was 3-1, he didn't work too hard to get it. And I beat myself in a lot of that, too. I think a lot of my frustration was also me knowing what to do or having it in my head what to do and kind of just ignoring that and my body just taking over and doing things. And
yeah, and that's a tough thing, too, in competitive, like, especially in offline tournaments where, like, if you're playing online, you're playing ranked, like, you lose a couple matches, you lose some points, you get upset, but you can win those points back. When you're at an offline local, you lose twice and you're out.
Yeah, and that was me getting out, so... Yeah,
and so the other thing, too, is, like, let's say they jump at you, and you're expecting them to jump, and then you go to anti-air, and, like, you fat finger it, and, like, it doesn't come out, and you get hit. Like, you're upset, and then you carry that upset to the next rock, paper, scissors, and then you get more.
Next round, yeah.
And it's, the hardest thing to do is to forgive yourself, but it's actually the best thing you can do. It's like you miss the anti-air, and before the next situation happens, and let's say that's like 2 seconds, you have to already be forgiven and
move on.
Yeah, the slate is clean and on to the next one. You say, I'm going to get the next one, and I'm forgiven.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just going to play worse and worse and worse. The mental damage is going to snowball.
Mm-hmm. And in that situation, he was my 3rd set in a row.
Oh, right.
And then I had just beaten my brother.
Yep. And
I think I beat someone else after that before I got to Paces.
Was it Beefcake?
I think
Beefcake got pretty far in the bracket.
Yeah. And Beefcake was even more tough to beat the second time around. I was happy that I was going to be 3rd place that night, but I also was like, I just want to meet Ricky in the finals. I really, really I just want to be there. It doesn't matter what happens after that, what I expect, but I just would love to be in there with you to get one more shot at you for the tournament of the night. But
yeah, and shout out to Paces. He played great. I mean, grand finals, he 3-0'd me for the bracket reset. I was a little bit surprised, to be honest with you.
That needs to be said, because even watching it, I'm outside, I'm trying to cool off, and I'm seeing him do work on you. And I'm like,
yeah.
that also alleviated my stress, because as opposed to me looking at him as an equal in skill level or somewhere close, in that moment I could see, he's playing out of his mind tonight. He's just playing really, really well. So I didn't play as good as I could, and on top of that, he played so great that it made me feel like I played that much worse on top of it. So
yeah.
It's tough. That's how it be going in the tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's my favorite part of playing offline locals is like you run to the same players a lot. So like you just lost to Paces, and so now you're like, okay, let me get some more practice in either against Blanca specifically, or let me just grind the game and just level up in general. Learn a new setup maybe, and then come back the next week or the week after that, run into him again and run it back and kind of gauge your skill level. Because if everyone's practicing, then everyone's a moving target, and you're always trying to figure out like where am I relative to my competition
right now in this week. Yeah, because like we've gone back and forth a few times. I think he might have a slightly better record than me when it comes to us going against each other, but it's not completely lopsided. He hit me with some cheeky command grab setups too, twice. I was like, oh, that's something. And then when he hit me again, I was like, that's that same something, Ryan. Like, pay attention, you know? Yeah. Good on him. I feel like I'd never seen that before. So shouts to Paces for, you know, putting in that work. And a great person. He hit me up later on the Discord and was like, oh, like, congrats. Like, you know, you're a good player. Just keep moving. And that feels good to hear, obviously, from other good players, especially when you feel like you've had a rough night yourself. So
yeah, I feel like we're always trying to push each other and also like pump each other up and like help you believe in yourself. Where it's like yes, I'm going to beat you up to the best of my ability because that's what I'm trying. That's what I came here to do. But I don't want you to feel bad because you lost. I want you to feel motivated because you lost.
Yes, that can be tough. But that's the beauty of the local setup. Good to wrap it up, my friend. I think that's been plenty of time. A 2-hour stream of the Safe Sets podcast live. We hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode of us talking about Season 2 and all of the wonderful things that it has brought to the Street Fighter 6 community. If you have enjoyed this stream, please give it a like, share it with some friends and some like-minded individuals and see what they think of it. Comment down below what you're thinking of Season 2 so far, what you like, dislike, and how you're enjoying Akuma. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we are climbing our way to 2,000 subs. It's a big, big goal for us. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. With all that being said, that's going to end this episode of the Safe Sets podcast. We will catch you guys next Friday, 8 p.m. Keep pressing them buttons and
stay safe.